Hello, Warren. How are you today? I hope you're doing okay today. We're going to talk about hero's journey, and one of the first things that we need to talk about is the actual hero himself or herself and the journey that he actually goes on. So one of the first things that we need to talk about are our guiding questions for this lesson. So first of all, we're going to talk about what defines a hero, how do we define a hero, and what traits and characteristics make up a hero. How can we connect to or with the hero in our story? So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to take about 5 minutes, pause this video, and I want you to list as many heroes as you can within that 5-minute period. Don't use a cell phone, don't use your computer, try to do it all from memory. Write as many heroes as you possibly can. Pause this video. You can write all your heroes' names down in the notes part of your lesson. Okay, so pause your video and begin. Okay, you should be back now, ready to go. So, moving on. So what defines a hero? Well, a hero, by definition, is a person of mythological or legendary figure, often of divine descent, meaning their powers came from a god of some sort, endowed with great strength or ability. The principal characters in a literary or dramatic work use specifically of the principal male character, especially when contrasted with a heroine. Okay, a heroine, of course, is a female character. So, like, we have Ripley from the movie Aliens, we have Samus, who I didn't know for a very long time was a girl, which was actually really cool. She's one of the first female heroine characters. From history, we have right here, we have Rosie the Riveter, of course. Even though she is a made-up character, she represented the millions of female workers from World War II. We have the warrior princess, Boudica, from the Celtic times when she faced off against the Romans. She led rebellion against the Romans. And we also have Mary is her name. I can't remember her last name, but she manned a cannon during the American Revolution when all the other soldiers were shot out from underneath it. I believe her husband was wounded, so she took his spot. And of course, we've got the superhero DC girls here. So, what is your definition? We'll go back here real quick. What is your definition of a hero? Write your definition down here in the notes part. Okay, the hero. I want you to go through and I want you to watch each of these videos. I want you to start with watching Batman, the video here, by clicking on him, and then of course click on John Henry, and then end with Stan Lee, a message from Stan Lee. When you're done with those, I want you to write your thoughts down about the 3 different videos down here. Okay. So, who is your favorite hero? In class, we took about half an hour, and we looked up our own favorite hero. So if you would just go through and answer each of these questions down in the speaker notes. So you'll need to know how and why they became a hero, what are their strengths and weaknesses, when and where are they from, why are they important to our society, the society that this story is from. So like if you choose like a Japanese character, why is that hero important to Japan? How did they grow as a hero? Because every hero kind of starts in this small little world, but then transforms into something new. So explain that. And then why do you connect to the hero? in general. What makes you, what is the connection that you have with the character? Like, for instance, we have Hero from Big Hero 6, you know. I connect with him because he is, he likes to invent things, and he constantly tinkers and creates things. I do that as well. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video again here. Okay, welcome back. I hope that your hero that you chose, you found a really good connection with, and let's move on. Okay. I want you to watch this story here. This is the story of Gilgamesh. Okay, it was the first, one of the very first hero stories that we have found in our history. It was written on a Babylonian tablet that was found from a long, long time ago. It was about 4,000 years ago. Now think about it. Last year we studied the Crusades, right? That was about 1,000 years ago. And then we studied, you've studied ancient Greece. That was about 2,000 years ago. And then you studied ancient Egypt, which was about 3,000 years ago. And then, of course, you have Mesopotamia, which is when you started your 6th grade year. You talked about Mesopotamia and the Tigris and Euphrates. Well, this is where this story comes from. So it's over 4,000 years ago. Remember, written history didn't start until about 6,000 years ago. So this story is the oldest known story that we have. So watch the video and tell me, what do you think Gilgamesh's strengths are? What his weaknesses are? You know, do you have a connection to Gilgamesh? Let me know those down. Let me know your thoughts on the reading in the notes below. Okay, so we're gonna pause the video again. Okay, welcome back. So after that video, let's re-jump our brains. You may even take a break at this point, so you may pause that video one more time. But I want you to think about the different traits and characteristics a superhero has. So first of all, label all their traits. So let's say, are they courageous? Are they smart? Are they funny? You can even write down superpowers as part of their characteristics. Make a list, as many of those as you possibly can, down there in that speaker's notes. Okay. So we're going to take a small break again and pause the video. All right, welcome back. Take the time here on this next slide. I want you to actually look up some character traits using your computer this time. See if you got some really good ones. Again, take about 2 minutes, and we're going to pause the video. All right, welcome back. So here's kind of an explanation of the different video traits. If you'll watch each of these 3 videos, 1, 2, 3, and then tell me your thoughts, okay? Again, we're going to pause and write your thoughts down on those 3 videos. All right, welcome back again. Okay. So one of the things that we're going to study, of course, is Joseph Campbell's A Hero's Journey. Okay? And every hero goes through this pattern. Okay? You may have found this out from the video before. So let's just give a brief rundown. First off, you have your status quo. Okay? The status quo is where you will, your character starts. Okay? This is like what someone does in their everyday world. For instance, our status quo is that we wake up in the morning, or used to be, you know, back before COVID, we would wake up in the morning, we would get dressed, brush our teeth, eat breakfast, get on the bus or go to school. Then we'd go to school all day, and then at 3 o'clock we go home, we may get a snack, work on homework, play video games, do something like that, and then get ready for bed and start that same cycle over and over and over again. Well, in order to have a journey, that status quo has to change. So there is some sort of call to action. Okay, a call to action can be anything. one day you're walking home and you see a burning building, and your hero rushes in and tries to save the family. Well, he is now going, that call to action is him seeing the fire. Or like if you've ever seen Harry Potter, he gets a letter and he goes to Hogwarts. Or when Frodo gets the ring and Gandalf tells him, hey, this is a bad ring, we've got to take this to and destroy it somehow. Those call to actions are what brings that character into the adventure. And of course, you always have your characters who have some sort of assistance. In the Greek myths, they would get the assistance of magical weapons and stuff from gods. Or like in Harry Potter, Hagrid takes Harry to Diagon Valley, where he gets his magical tools and wands to help him on his journey. You usually have some sort of mentor who will guide the character during this time. And then that character actually leaves and goes on his departure forward. So, and this is where they kind of step into the new world of that they're going into. So, for instance, Harry Potter getting on the platform of 9 3/4 and getting on the train to Hogwarts, that is his departure into the new special world. Frodo leaves the Shire for the first time. After the Hulk gets his powers, he goes off and he's being chased. All of these things are the departure on there. And then as they go on their journey, the heroes face trials. Some sort of things that test the hero, that make them stronger, makes them figure out some sort of riddle. And then their approach on how they're going to solve those riddles is them actually taking actions to solve it. So if you remember in Perseus Jackson, so actually let's go back to Perseus Jackson. I'm pretty sure that you've read the first book. So the status quo is Perseus, he goes to school, he comes home to his mom, and he lives with his stinky stepfather, okay? The call to action is when he actually gets attacked for the first time, and he finds out that he's a half-blood. So now he has this new adventure, and as he and his family or as he's learning about this new world to him, he's met with Grover, who is his mentor, and he gives him assistance on how to get to the Camp Half-Blood. And so as they're going to this new camp, and his mom's taking them in the car, and they're getting chased by the Minotaur, that is their departure. And when he steps into the Camp Half-Blood, and he passes that force wall, that is his departure. When he does that and he goes into that new world, he's now into this new special world, this new world that will test him. So his training that he goes on, and where he gets his weapons like Riptide and other things like that, those are his trials. The capture the flag scene is his trials. When he goes and starts his quest, and then the different things such as the Lotus Eaters and the different other people that he meets along the ways, those are all trials that he has to go through. And his approach on how to solve those and get back the lightning. The crisis is usually the big event in the story or in that little plot circle. This is where the hero will face off against a giant monster or something like that, and he will either nearly die, or sometimes in some cases, like in Harry Potter, he actually does die, but he will somehow come back from that, and he will survive. He'll either run away from the monster, and that way you can have a sequel, or he'll kill the monster, or he's killed and he's brought back to life. But that crisis, it has to be the most dangerous point for the hero. And then his success afterwards is that treasure. So, for instance, Harry Potter, his treasure, when he faces against Voldemort for the first time, his treasure is actually him being able to make a closer connection with Hermione and Ron, and and his friendships with the other people in his area, and of course them winning the House Cup. That's kind of the result. And then, but then you have that return. So when Harry Potter, at the end of almost every book, he returns to that normal world. He gets back onto the train of Hogwarts, or the Hogwarts train, and he goes back to the real world. But however, this real world is changed because of the learning that he had. So this is kind of a new world that he has. And then you kind of see a resolution of what's happening. So even though he's back in, Harry Potter's back in this new world, things are different because when he lives with the family, I can't remember their name right off the head, but when he lives with them again, you know, they know he knows magic, so they're slightly scared of him. And so things are slightly different for him. But that, you kind of go back to the new status quo. You start the thing back over again. Harry Potter's living with that family. He's still being mistreated. He's treated differently even more now because they know he knows magic. So that becomes the new status quo until it's time for the sequel and you start a new call to action. So what I want you to do is, in our class, we watch the movie Clash of the Titans. I want you to watch the movie Clash of the Titans. Please watch the older one. I feel that it is a better hero's journey story. It's also PG. So go back and watch that movie. You can find it on Netflix if you have Netflix. If not, I'm pretty sure you can find it on Amazon Prime. But watch Clash of the Titans and tell me, write a sentence about what Perseus's status quo is. Well, and then go and talk about what was the call to adventure? What was the assistance? I'll tell you, in the movie Clash of the Titans, there is actually 2 cycles of the hero's journey. And I want you to go through each of those steps for each of those cycles. So the first half of the movie is one cycle, and then the second half of the movie is another cycle. So then tell me each of those steps, write one sentence per each one, and do it right there in the bottom of the where it says click to add speaker notes. All right, thank you, Oren. I'll have another video for you tomorrow. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you later. Thank you.